Right, lesson 31, February 16th through the 19th. I've already written this because I didn't want to take a whole long time doing this. Please pause the video and write these 5 steps down, because our first thing is we're going to construct a square. Alright, so pause your video, write these 5 steps down. Alright, so our first step says to extend line segment AB on either side of A and B. So I went ahead and I drew segment AB, and I extended it on both sides. Okay? So it says construct the perpendicular to AB through A, and then we're going to construct a perpendicular to AB through B. Alright, so let's talk about, if you don't remember how to construct, guys, lessons 1 through 5 were our construction lessons. So if you want to go back and review that, you can. But we're going to just kind of go through this quickly. Alright, so I want to construct a perpendicular line that goes through point A. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put my point someplace over here, and I want my arc to go through point A. So I'm going to draw an arc to go through point A. Alright, don't move your segment or don't move your compass setting. And I want to come over here and I'm going to draw a second arc. Alright, I'm going to draw a second arc. Alright. And then I've got my line that's going to come through point A. Alright, and mine's not perfect. It's okay. It's no big deal. Alright. I'm going to come over here to B. I'm going to do the same thing. Alright, I want to put my compass point on a point away from B, or on B. Alright. Compass point away from B. And I'm going to draw my segment, or my arc. Alright, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing. Alright. And then I've got a perpendicular. Alright. Construct circle A with center A and radius AB. Alright, so it's radius AB. Alright. Which means I'm going to measure AB. And then my compass point stays on A. And I'm going to do a circle here. Alright. And then I'm going to do circle B with radius AB. So I'm going to construct a second circle. Alright. So there I have my 2 circles. Alright. Select one of the points where circle A meets the perpendicular through A and call that point D. So I've got to extend mine just a little bit. So D. Alright. In the same half plane as D, select a point where B. So I'm going to extend it just a little bit and call it B. You could have chosen, the reason it says select one point where circle A meets the perpendicular, you could do it down here. Alright, you could do it down on this side. Alright, and call that point C. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to put a B there. Call that point C. And then draw segment CD. construction exercise here. Alright. Okay. Now we're going to construct a 9-point circle. What is meant by the phrase 9-point circle? Alright, well, in this case, it is a circle that contains a set of 9 points. Alright, it is a circle that contains a set of 9 points. Alright. So, steps to construct a 9-point circle. Alright. So they have given us our steps. So, we're going to draw a triangle ABC. Okay? Notice it is not specific on what kind of triangle we're going to draw. So, we're just going to draw a triangle. Alright, it doesn't say it has to be equilateral, it doesn't say anything specific, it just says draw a triangle ABC. So I have triangle A, B, C. Alright, it says construct the midpoint of the segments, segment AB, segment BC, and segment CA, and label them L, M, N, respectively. Alright. Alright, so constructing the midpoints. Alright, let's talk about how do we find the midpoint. Alright, if you remember constructing a midpoint, midpoints divide something into equal measures. So therefore, in order to create that midpoint, I am going to start with AB, and I'm going to put my point on A, open it halfway, or a little better than halfway, and create my arc. Alright, don't move your setting. Put your point on B, and create that arc. Alright, in this case I need to extend my segment just a little bit. Alright, and then I'm going to draw. Remember, it's where the two meet. Alright, so this would be my midpoint. Alright, so we'll label that as L. Alright, and once again guys, at some point, if this gets too much for you, you can erase, just erase this inside. We'll leave that outside. And please leave this outside so I can see you did your construction. Alright, we're going to do the same thing for BC. Alright, I'm going to take and put my point on B and open a little bit better than halfway and create my arc. Then I'm going to come over here to C, do the same thing, create my arc. I'm going to draw the line that connects those 2 points, and that is my midpoint, and it says to label that M. Alright, and I can erase this part here, so that way I can have an empty triangle. Alright, and then we've got to do the last one, midpoint of CA. I'm going to put my point on A, open my compass a little better than halfway, create my arc, bring it over to C, open a little better than halfway, and then where the 2 points come together, I've got my midpoint, which is here, and we call that point N. Alright. So now I've got my step 2 done. Alright, now it says construct the perpendicular from each vertex to the opposite side of the triangle. Each is called an altitude. New vocabulary word here. Alright, so we are going to look at constructing an altitude. It is perpendicular. Alright, so we want to create this altitude perpendicular, meaning what? Once again, it means to be, to form 90-degree angles. Alright, so let's talk about how to do that. Alright, so construct the perpendicular from each vertex to the opposite side of the triangle. So I want a perpendicular. Alright, now, guys, to keep this video from being super duper long, we're going to create, I'm going to kind of just do this, and I'll show you where these perpendiculars would be. Alright, simply because I don't want to take a whole long time. So I'm going to dot the lines, and this is roughly where our perpendiculars would be. Alright. Like I said, it's more of just making sure that we're not going to take forever on this video. Remember, these are not exact. Okay. Alright. The altitudes are concurrent at a point. We're going to label that H. So we'll label this point H. Alright. I've got a label here, so label the intersection of the altitude from C to AB. So we're going to label this point D. Alright. Label the intersection of the altitude from A to BC. We're going to label that as E. Alright, and then from B to D, or to this point, we're going to label that as F. Alright, so we have a lot going on here. Alright, a lot going on here. Alright, so we said the altitudes are concurrent. Remember, we learned what the word concurrent means. They come together at a point. Alright, so it says construct the midpoints of AH. Alright, so they want us to construct the midpoint of AH, BH, and CH. And label them X, Y, and Z. Okay? We've constructed midpoints already. So I'm going to just kind of put those in here. We'll say it's roughly here. So we'll name that X. This one is roughly here. We'll name that's Z. And this one is roughly here. And this is Y. Alright, so we have a lot of stuff going on here. So it says the 9 points L, M, N, D, E, F, X, Y, Z are the points that define the 9-point circle. Alright, so L, D, alright, D and Y, then E, then we'll go to M, and then Z. So Z, actually, I need to move that. This is why construction is really important. And I just didn't want to take, we've already done that. And then N, F, X. So we actually have roughly a 9-point circle. Alright? So it says on a blank white sheet of paper, construct a 9-point circle using a different triangle than you did using the notes. Does this type of triangle you start with affect the construction of a 9-point circle? Okay, so this is going to be part of your homework. Alright, I want you to construct that 9-point circle. Guys, I will tell you that you need to do the construction part. Do not just roughly draw what it looks like. I want to see your construction parts, your midpoints and all that. Alright? And then tell me, does it matter what type of triangle you start with? Alright, does it affect the construction of your 9-point circle? Here I started with a triangle that looks like this. It's a scalene triangle. Maybe start with an isosceles triangle, or maybe start with an equilateral triangle. See if maybe start with a right triangle. Alright, is it going to matter? Alright, so this is your homework. Make sure you have your construction tools. You will need them. Alright guys, have a great rest of the week.